better organized now than I've ever been in my life.
And one of the things that I really found was helping me with using Simpleology was that I was sleeping better.
Hi, my name's Jay Crater in the San Francisco Bay Area. I have been using Simpleology for about 6 months, and it has made a huge impact on my productivity.
Hey, I just want to take a moment to tell you about my experience with Simpleology and the Black Belt training.
What Simpleology does, it's simple. It's about focus.
Hello, I'm Oscar Woutsma. I'm living in the Netherlands in Eindhoven and have used Simpleology software for almost a month now.
Simpleology helps eliminate the distractions and focus on those things that lead directly to the goal.
I'm Casey Tibbs, and I'm a real Simpleology Elite member. When I began using Simpleology, I worked in a warehouse as a warehouse tech, doing a lot of manual labor. In addition to my full-time job, I had 5 part-time sales and marketing jobs that I wanted to leverage in order to build an independent career in those fields.
Absolutely fabulous tool, and but the things that I tell people is that I like to use power tools and action strategies to be successful in the career business.
I always had things come to me during the day that I wouldn't necessarily be able to write down, but I was trying to remember them, and would wake up in the middle of the night saying, oh crap, I forgot to do whatever. And that has totally stopped.
I can't recommend it enough. People ask me, what am I doing when I'm talking into my phone? I'm sending messages to someone called Dreamcatcher.
I've always had an issue with procrastination and with analysis paralysis. Those are basically my 2 big issues, and for years and years they kept me from succeeding, even though I really had a strong desire to be an entrepreneur.
Thank you again, Simpleology. I have to say, this is one of the greatest tools I've discovered, keeping myself productive and getting all the things I need to do done.
Simpleology is about defining and then accomplishing the important stuff that's going to get you closer to your goal and your objective.
And this is helping me be more and more successful, and as a result, my clients are more successful as well. Thanks again to Simpleology.
But everything gets caught, and every day, every morning, I start with Simpleology, and I'm on top of my tasks, and I'm focused on the most important things first. And I'm very happy, very pleased. Highly recommend it to anyone who's considering Simpleology.
When I finally kind of was forced into the role of working for myself full-time, those same issues kept coming up again and again, and I realized I really needed help in order to get past them. I'd been exposed to Simpleology prior to this, years ago actually, and really liked it, but at the same time, if I recall correctly, procrastinated my way right out of using it.
I completed white belt training and I'm very happy about the results. I'm more productive. My habit of productivity is a fact now.
I have been a consultant with a couple of different companies. I'm now opening up a franchise business. I have a wife, 2 children. All of that mixed together gives me lots of things for me to get done every day.
And this teaches anyone in the white and black belt training how to become mission-oriented, having spent a number of years in special forces. It's all about the who, what, when, where, why, how of accomplishing the mission, because all of those things have to come together.
So that is probably one of the biggest pluses of using Simpleology that I could tell anyone is, if you want to sleep better at night, use Simpleology.
But when I came back to it, at this point, I found the black belt training as part of the options that hadn't been there before. And it was actually exactly what I needed. Having that little sign up in the corner that was blinking each day, reminding me to do my daily training, was just what I needed to get that habit of start my day and all of the basics to become a really habitual routine.
And the white and black belt training is absolutely excellent.
Nice. So I just wanted to give a very quick, probably not very eloquent testimonial at utilizing the Simpleology platform. For me, it's been a great time saver, and I really would be sad if I didn't have it and able to use it in my life.
And I proved myself that I can succeed in setting goals and aiming for what I want, and also keeping the right focus that is needed for the right actions
I recommend it to anyone. It's one of the best things I've ever used.
And since there, my productivity has really just skyrocketed. So at this point, I'm a daily Simpleology user. I'm not sure how I would survive without it, and I really appreciated training as well. So thanks very much.
With so much on my plate and the goal to escape that dreaded warehouse job within 6 months, I began utilizing Simpleology to organize my life, make the most of my time, and improve my general productivity.
Simpleology made a way that I can create a list of what I need to do. I can focus on it. And when things come up during the day, as they always do, I can quickly add them to my list without disrupting what I'm doing now, without losing the focus on what I'm doing at this moment.
Because it enables me to keep things on track and in a way that I can see exactly what's happening in my life. Things come into my day that I need to put into place somewhere. There's somewhere to do that with Simpleology, and there's so many facets of it.
I'm complimenting the makers of this software for the ideas and for the inventivity and the creativity. And I want to use the rest of the software also.
My major focus goal was to quit that job, and I was actually surprised one day when I reviewed my major focus. I'd been primarily focused on my daily targets, getting the daily work done and learning more about what I was doing. And I realized that I'd already built up my independent career and left the warehouse within about 2 months.
It's been stupendous. I keep things organized, and I get a whole lot more done than I used to do.
Just jump on board if you haven't already done so. Get the elite version, because that's going to give you the training you need and all the functionality to be able to utilize Simpleology in a way that will have, without question, if you take advantage of it, an impact on your life to the better.
I advise everyone I know to use this, to try it out, and to see if this is something for them also.
To this day, I use Simpleology daily, not only to keep myself organized and focused, but also to manage the finer details of my career, the different things that I do in my life.
I'm very excited. I can do it with anything, my cell phone, my computer at home, work. Doesn't matter where I am, I can easily do the work and easily do the organization. So thank you again. I recommend it to anybody who is committed to making a change in their life. It will take care of you.
So that's my quick, I guess, abbreviated version of how I feel Simpleology has great value in your life, whether you're a business owner or not.
Everyone who has problems with focus and their productivity should use this software. It's really magic for my life, and I hope it is for yours. Thank you very much.
I'm building my career, and I even have more time to do things like make music. That's the truth. I'm Casey Tibbs, and I keep things Simpleology.
Oh, and also, I should add, it's not just about productivity in your life, in your work, etc. It's about your whole life. It's about getting things at home and organized in a way that works best for you, that gets you to what you need to do, whether it's the way a room's set up, you name it, sleeping, exercising, whatever it is. Through Simpleology's concepts and the concept they bring from other places, you really find a great improvement in your life. So good luck, have fun, enjoy.
All right, you guys, we are live. This is Ryan Healy and Mark Joyner, and welcome to the Simpleology Live Hangout. And tonight we're going to talk about real detox methods that actually work, proven, scientific, not just a bunch of marketing claims or all that. And we can bring the receipts if we need to. Ryan, what do you think, brother? Do you think all this detox stuff is real, or do you think that there's just a bunch of marketing claims out there?
I think some of it's real. I think some of it is fake, and I can get into that if you want me to.
I would love that, actually. I'm curious now where the Venn diagram overlap is, like what Mark believes is real and what Ryan believes is fake. There's probably some overlap in there, and I am open to learning something new as well. This is a really cool thing about I love having conversations with Ryan because neither of us really care like who's right and wrong. We're just like, let's find the truth, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. That's where everybody should be, but it's easier said than done. So let me start with one. Let's start with some low hanging fruit stuff, and we'll see what you think about this.
Okay, sounds good.
I will say the easiest, quickest reach one. This is something I keep wherever I go. I don't travel without it, and it's because there are emergency rooms around the world that have it on hand, and they call it the universal antidote. Ryan, I bet, do you know this one?
Maybe it's silver.
That's not a bad. Okay, that's interesting. We should get into that. That's interesting. Okay, let's hold that. Tuck that one in the back pocket because that's a go.
Fulvic acid or humic acid, maybe. I don't know.
Ooh, that's right. Yeah, that's an interesting one too. That's not what I'm thinking, but that's an interesting one to bring up.
All right, I'm not sure I know what you're referencing.
So I'm thinking about good old activated charcoal.
Oh yeah. I've got that in my cabinet.
Yeah. Okay. So now I'll tell you, there's this website. I'm not going to name it. It rhymes with sciencebased-medicine.org. I don't know. Okay. Hopefully I'm not,
cased flevidence.
That's right. That's right. So that website, I don't know who runs it. I don't know what their thing is, and I'm not going to make any claims. What I will say is there is an article on there where they say that there's a lot of, I think they were making fun of, and I could have the facts wrong here, and I'm just going off memory, and I could be wrong. But they said, I think it was Gwyneth Paltrow was doing some kind of a charcoal water product, and they were poo-pooing her for that. And they said a phrase, they said, anytime somebody, and I'm just going off memory, I could be wrong, but I think their article said something like, anytime somebody mentions the word detox or toxins, it's bogus, right? And I was like, that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure the word toxin is a medical term. And there is a difference between a toxin and a poison. And I'm also pretty sure you can go to PubMed and search that term and find many, many, many references to toxins.
Okay.
And I'm also pretty sure that, and hey, maybe these guys got the I don't know what their intention of writing that article was, but I just remember that going, I don't know, this doesn't sound like science-based medicine to me, guys. I mean, maybe they're good folks. Maybe they got a lot of good information out there, but this is the one thing I remember. So I'm pretty sure that charcoal is used as a universal antidote because it will bind to certain things. And while it won't detox the blood, what it will do, and there is an article, anybody watching, if you guys want to fact check me, you can go to Google Scholar, PubMed, wherever. I believe that there was a study with phenobarbital where they showed that while it doesn't attach to stuff in the blood, what it does do is it does radically speed up the rate of elimination in things in the blood, because when the body removes things, it has to pass through the digestive system. And if the charcoal attaches to it, it will facilitate the body's elimination and thus speed up the rate at which things will leave the blood. It doesn't go into the blood and pull it out, but it's the same effect.
Right. Yeah, I'd heard that it binds with stuff. So like, for example, if you eat something and you start to feel a little sick and you think that, oh, I might have food poisoning, it's a good idea to take activated charcoal pretty quickly so that it can bind with whatever it is in your stomach and then get it out of there. At least that's my understanding. I don't know if I'm right about that, but that's how one use that I've heard of.
Your understanding is my understanding on that. And neither of us are doctors. We're not lawyers. None of us are asking you to follow any of our advice at all. You guys are all free sovereign people. Please do what you want and talk to the real experts out there. But I'm pretty sure charcoal is legit. I think that there's a pretty sufficient amount of evidence to support that.
Yeah, I think so. Yep.
Yeah.
So Venn diagram, first part of the Venn diagram overlaps.
100%. Well, okay.
100% overlap.
100% overlap. All right. Ryan believes it. Mark believes it. Who knows what the science says? Because the science says things, right?
It does.
That's
It often
right.
says things. It always says things.
That's right. That's right. I'm always curious about that phrase. The science says. I'm like, I don't know. I thought science was a process
Yeah.
for discerning truth, and that science didn't actually say anything. But I don't know. I'm not an expert.
Just trust the science, bro.
Trust the science. That's right. I'm surprised that I don't trust the science after being told to trust the science for many years. Oh, let's see. Okay, so you brought up silver. That's an interesting one. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, colloidal silver I had read about for a while, and I had some colloidal silver, and I think I took it a few times, either when I was sick or whatever. I think I took it outside of that as well. But basically, isn't it like antiviral, antibacterial? So I don't know if it falls under the category of a detox thing or not, but it makes it harder for bugs to survive. Now, that's one of those ones where like I dug into it a few years back, had some,
Yeah.
then I saw some contrary stuff that was like, hey, maybe you shouldn't be ingesting silver. And I'm like, I don't know. And then I just kind of dropped it.
Yeah. You got to wonder some of the stuff that like debunk stuff. It's like, are they trying to scare me away from this thing because it works? And it's like, there's so much information, disinformation, real. You don't know what's what.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that was one where sometimes there's stuff that I'm just not passionate enough to spend hours and hours and hours doing a deep dive on it to figure it out.
Yeah.
Because, you could do that with everything, and it can be exhausting. Well, it can take you away from the things in your life that you may need to do, like run your business, make money, pay bills, take care of your family members, things like that. I understand that health is a key important thing, but there's, like you said, there's a lot of conflicting things out there, and it can be a deep dive on every single little thing. And obviously in the supplement world, there's an incentive to always be pushing the new thing.
Right? That's right. And cheesy plug segue alert, I'm going to just run the scrolling banner on the bottom, simpleology.com/7daybc. Simpleology does in fact help you figure out, hey, which things should I be focusing on and which things should I not be focusing on? I think the answer to that question is a very important one. That's something that the software helps you do on a day-to-day basis. So cheesy plug / and that's actually a / I think, shouldn't it be? Yeah. All right. So yeah. So all right. So I'll quickly on silver. I think that the antimicrobial effect is unequivocal in vitro, right?
Yeah.
And we do know that for a time it was used. I don't know if it still is today, but I think it was a standard for wound care for a while, like for burns, right?
Yeah, I have a silver wound gel that I use, particularly for road rash.
Oh man!
And now the scabs are off, but looks like new pink skin or whatever. But yeah, I use that a few times. Has a real cooling effect.
Wow!
And preventing infection, which is kind of important when you have road rash. So,
were you using that after the smash?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed the cast is off, or the sling, or.
Yeah, it's been feeling better the last few days. I rested on my armrest.
Yeah.
But yeah, I've got PT tomorrow morning. We'll see what she says. But I've been back on the bike on the Zwift. So did 90 miles this last week.
So for those of you guys who are not following this story, Ryan took quite of a spill on his bike, and thankfully he was on the recumbent bike.
No,
no. You were not on the recumbent bike.
No,
okay.
I wish I was on the recumbent bike.
Hey, you took the full brunt. Boom.
Yeah. I was on my regular road bike, and I shattered my clavicle out here.
Yeah.
Distal fracture, and it was in a lot of pieces. So 9 screws and a plate.
So my brother had a knee replacement surgery scheduled And after he scheduled that, Ryan took a spill. So around the same time, both of them were getting shoulder and knee replacement. And yeah, not easy stuff. The PT was just seeing my brother as well, and he's slowly getting through it. Everybody was gone from the house, and it was just me and my brother for 2 days. So we got some good bonding time over the 4th of July. Yeah, and he just does not want to move right now. But you seem to be up and about.
Who seems to be? Or I do?
No. My brother
He's
seems
up
to
and
be. Well, no, he doesn't want to be, but you seem to be up and about.
Yeah. I've been trying to stay as active as I'm able to be. One thing that I've noticed, which is kind of surprising, is my left forearm seems to have atrophied a bit over the last 3 weeks. I was like looking down, I'm like, I don't like that. Even though I have taken the sling off and I try to get some mobility and things like that, but I'm just not lifting enough or using it enough to maintain the muscle mass.
It's amazing how fast the muscle will go.
Yeah, 3 weeks, man. It's just
yeah, straight use it or lose it, right?
Yep.
So you use some bandages on that nasty the gnarly cut you had there?
Not really on the one on the forearm. I did have a bandage on the shoulder area that they put on in the hospital because they couldn't bandage the incision properly without bandaging the road rash first. So they had to bandage the road rash, and then the bandage for this overlapped the bandage. So it's like this weird V shape, so that was bandaged. But for me, as much as possible, I try to keep wounds open to the air so that oxygen helps with the healing and the scabbing. I believe the natural process is the fastest way to heal.
I think so too.
If you cover something for too long, there are times when you need to cover, like with road rash, particularly if it's contact with your sheets, you'll get stuck to your bed. So sometimes you just have to bite the bullet, bandage at night, take it off in the morning.
Yeah. Well, again, guys, we are not doctors. We're not lawyers. We're not accountants. We're just a couple of crazy dudes who read a lot of stuff and like to build things. I'm kind of with you, dude. Like I am like as close to naked as I can get on the beach every morning. Like I'm out in the sun. I don't use sunblock. I don't wear sunglasses. Anyway, take your own counsel on these things. That's the conclusion I've come to. Maybe someday I will regret those decisions. I do not know, but I feel like nature is the way.
Yeah, I agree. There was a recent study that kind of blew up on X about sunscreens and cancer rates. You saw that? Yeah. Highest cancer rates are among sunscreen users, which to me is not a surprise. You're taking deadly chemicals and putting slathering it all over your skin, and your skin is just sucking that right into your body.
Well, some of the I'm with you on that, dude, but the counter arguments are worth exploring. They're saying, hey, what's going on there? The people that wear sunscreen or the people that are out in the sun, it's still the sun that's causing it. Hey, fair enough. Maybe. Right. But I don't know, man. I feel like we're designed to be in nature. Yeah.
The only time I use sunscreen, and my wife will get like she tries to get some natural sunscreen or whatever, but I might use it once or twice a year if I'm going to be at high altitude on a bike ride. Because as soon as you get up, 8,000-9,000 feet, those UV rays they'll fry you. So if you're going to be 3 hours on a bike climbing a mountain pass, it's really not realistic.
Yeah.
To not have something. So you either got to cover with a full sleeve or put on some sunblock. So I usually use it selectively. I'll put it on my nose, the tips of my ears, back of my neck, and the tops of my knees.
That's interesting. I was not aware of that. I have not spent too much time in the mountains. Even when I was in the Army, I didn't do, I spent a little time in the mountains in Korea, but, marching through the kudzu and all that.
Yeah.
I remember cutting through that stuff
Oh,
for
yeah.
for hours and hours and hours. But none of those mountains are too high, at least not the ones that we were all marching through.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
if you're in a place with high humidity, the humidity acts a little bit like a filter or a block. So if I'm down at sea level in Florida,
Yeah.
I can spend probably double the time in the sun before I get burned versus here.
Interesting.
So here you have almost zero humidity,
Mm.
got nothing blocking the sun, hardly anything, and the UV index is way higher, and you're closer to the sun. So it's just like the way the analogy is, if you're at sea level on the beach, it's like it being in an oven on bake,
Yeah.
you know. But up here, it's like broil.
Yeah, you are closer, right? Yeah. That makes, yeah, on some level that has to make sense, right? And I didn't know about the humidity thing. That's actually good to know, because I could go from all these beach locations where I'm just like, I'll be in the sun, as much as I possibly can. But then, yeah, maybe I would be in for a very rude awakening if I think I could pull that off in Colorado.
Yeah, you burn quicker here for sure.
Okay. Very good to know. Very
Yeah.
good to know. All right. Now that's actually a good segue to another one, which is really good. And it's, I have heard, I don't have the studies at hand. If I were not as freewheeling as I am with these kind of things, I just kind of like to go off the cuff and tell you honestly, like, where I am. Sometimes I'll research, sometimes I won't, but I didn't really do any formal research for this, because it's just something I kind of have studied a lot off and on. But I'm under the understanding that there are some studies that support the idea that if you do dry sauna, this hasn't been corroborated with the infrared saunas, at least to my understanding. For a certain lengths of time, there's been a radical reduction in all-cause mortality shown in the literature, right? So that's and that's an interesting segue from the sun, because I think it's pretty clear that when we sweat through the skin, that is one of the natural detoxification pathways, right? Yeah.
I was going to say, do you think that's primarily because of sweating, not necessarily it being a dry sauna? I wonder if you get the same benefit if you're doing, like, when I ride my bike, specifically indoors, because I don't have any wind on me.
Yeah.
I know I'm sweating just as much outside, but
just don't see it.
But the wind dries it, right? It dries it quicker. But indoors, it's like I jumped in a swimming pool.
Right. Right. Yeah, it lets you know exactly how much you're sweating out.
Yeah.
It's a good question. What is the mechanism there, right? Is it that you're raising the temperature and making a more unfavorable environment for certain microorganisms, right? That could be part of it.
Could be part of it.
Yeah, and like all things, it's like it's probably not binary causality. It's probably, multivariate, conditionally dependent. I'm really into getting into yogurt right now, and I started doing some for my brother because he had to do the antibiotic stuff, and so I was like, okay, let me find out what's the nerdiest possible yogurt combination I could come up with for him. and you will find that very, very minor variations in temperature will, like, certain microbes just will not live, like, a couple degrees difference.
Yeah, that's interesting. I mean, I know the body maintains homeostasis, yet when you're doing rigorous exercise, or if you're in a dry sauna and the temperature's cranked up, your body temperature may actually go up into what might consider, like 90, like a little over 99, 99.2 or something like that. Now your body's going to sweat to try to bring that down, but you might be at what's considered close to a low grade fever during that time. So I wonder if that is also part of the detox. It's like, because that's your body's natural way of killing off invaders, and is to raise your body temperature. That's another reason why I'm very against, as much as possible, against painkillers.
Yeah.
Because, I'm like, they're like, well, take some painkillers to bring the temperature down. I'm like, well, why would I want to bring it down?
Yeah.
I want it to be here because I'm sick.
Yeah.
Something's in my body and I want it to die so I can get well again. An interesting, anecdote. My family, probably the sickest my family was ever been, was right around Christmas of 2018. Okay. And we all got this really nasty respiratory bug. Now, I refused, it was headache and congestion and coughing. I refused to take any painkillers. Other family members did. And my fever was 12 hours shorter than the next closest person. So mine was done after 60 hours. The next closest was 72. And some went longer than that. And I think there's probably a correlation between how much you delay the inevitable, right? Your body is going to require a certain amount of time to kill off whatever the illness is.
Yeah.
And every time you take painkillers, you're kind of suppressing that process. You're like hitting the pause button, but you still got to play the whole tape.
Yeah. That's a good metaphor. That's probably quite analogous to what's actually going on there. I mean, we do know that the body does raise the temperature. It's not doing that for no reason, right? It's yeah. Interesting. Yeah. I'm pretty sold on the idea. I mean, I do hot and cold therapy as much as I can. I'm not doing as much sauna these days. It's just, it's a funny thing about convenience. There's a sauna I can go to where I normally am, not where I am right now back in the US, but where I normally am these days. Probably just take me like 2 minutes to just go down an elevator, get in there and do it. But I don't, right? But my housekeeper brings ice for my bathtub, and I do that because my bathtub's right there, you know?
Yeah.
So maybe I got to ask the resort to build a little sauna, you know?
That's funny.
Yeah, that's right. All right. So sauna, I think, is pretty legit. What do you think? You got another one? You mentioned folate, I think, and humic acid.
Fulvic acid.
Fulvic.
I don't know. I don't know if that, again, that's another one that was kind of like the colloidal silver. I was researching that at the same time. Took it for a while. You know, I'm not sure that I noticed. Most things that you take, do you really notice? Do you really feel a difference?
And how much of that's placebo, right?
How much of it's placebo, or do you just do it because the science, as much as possible, you know, the studies show that, you know, taking this has this positive benefit? I don't know. But yeah, that was one where I did it for a short period of time.
Yeah. I had some friends who were also super into that and convinced about it. And I looked at it and I thought, I don't know, I guess I'm eating some dirt components. I mean, you know, why not, you know, right? So I tried it. Yeah. I didn't know if it was doing anything, and I didn't feel anything pronounced enough to have me go, okay, I'm going to do that. And I didn't see enough evidence, you know, to be sold on long-term use.
Right.
But maybe I'm wrong. I don't know.
Yeah.
I would never rob anybody of a good placebo, though.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, if you think it's doing good, and it is doing good because you think it's doing good, then keep it up.
Yeah, why not? Why not? Well, I mean, why not? Well, there are some reasons why not, right? Sometimes you're taking a placebo.
Could be harmful. It could be the opposite. Yeah. Assuming
right.
It's a harmless placebo effect.
Assuming. Yeah. And hard assumption to verify. A lot harder than people think, I would say.
Yeah.
So I'll throw another one out there that I think is pretty verifiable. Zeolite, analogous to activated charcoal. One does absorption, another one does adsorption. That's absorption and adsorption. You guys can go down the Google rabbit hole of that if you want to, or these days I shouldn't even say Google rabbit hole, the GPT rabbit hole, the AI rabbit hole. The zeolite, it has, so I think it depends on molecular weight and size. You know, there are different things that they interact with differently, but one of the differences, according to the proponents of zeolite, is that it will bind to metals, right?
Oh,
so
like
if you want to get rid of mercury, that's one. If you believe in the whole, you know, we're poisoning ourselves with mercury story, that's it. And I know guys who've worked in chemical labs and are like, yeah, we've got zeolite on hand in case certain things spill. Yeah, it's
Is it something you ingest?
Yeah. It is. And there are various compounds of it that I've seen. I know there are some people selling it in like nano form, which, you know, I mean, theoretically makes sense. You know, the smaller particle size might, you know, get deeper into the cells. I don't know, but maybe that's not necessarily a good thing. Again, I'm not a doctor, right? But that, Yeah, you can take zeolite powder. I wouldn't take it willy-nilly. I think that there are food grade versions of it out there. Um, but yeah, I don't know if anybody uses it intravenously or any other way. There are other routes of administration, and I'm kind of implying one that I just don't have I don't know, the stomach to say out loud. But if you go to a hospital, they will give you charcoal via the opposite route. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, all right. So we can say it. We dropped the E word. Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they will do that at an emergency room to clear stuff out of the system faster, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Maybe they do that with zeolite. I don't know, but I mean, you can buy the oral form of zeolite,
Yeah.
and it seems to make good sense. Yeah.
I've got one that I pulled up here when I saw the title of the call. This is called Parapurge, but
Oh yeah.
it's a combination of fenbendazole and ivermectin.
Okay, we're going right to the weapons grade. Super controversial stuff now. All right. Yes. Okay.
This isn't something you would take daily. I've heard different ways of approaching it. One is to take it a handful of days every month. Whatever you decide to do, but the idea is that it gets rid of parasites. And there's some information out there that I don't know if I buy into this, that cancer is like parasitic activity, and I'm like, maybe I think cancer is a metabolic disorder.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure how much parasites are, involved in that. So I'm not saying that this prevents cancer, although some people online will make that claim. I don't necessarily think that's true. I do think that it can be effective for cleansing your body of parasites and kind of getting a reset on your digestive system. So,
well, I'll tell you, I did not expect you to go there, and it's kind of awesome because I will do that every now and then. I will do, and again, guys, this is not medical advice. Go do your own research. But I have done fenbendazole, ivermectin, and nitazoxanide together, and you do it during the lunar cycle because the parasites will bloom. You have 3 different stages.
Oh.
You have the eggs, the larva, and then the whatever you call the full worm.
Yeah.
There's a term for that. It's escaping me at the moment, but
larva.
So actually, yeah, the larva I think is the second stage. It's the egg, the larva, and then it'll come to us. Yeah.
Okay.
But they will sit. The naturopathic guys will do the black walnut, the wormwood, and I think what is the third one? There's a third. I think is it nutmeg? No, it's not nutmeg. And those 3 apparently will attack the 3 different stages. But
okay.
Okay, here's what I think the parasite cleansing, whether or not it's connected to cancer or not, is a good idea, right?
Yeah.
I think we use deworming for all of our animals. We do it regularly, right? We don't do it we do it to the livestock. Why are we not doing it to ourselves? Right. It would seem to me that if all the other mammals have this problem, but why are we not treating it for ourselves? Again, that's something for everybody to look into on their own. And the whole reason for people maligning ivermectin is they were calling it horse dewormer, right? So I think that the anti-parasitic effects of ivermectin and fenben and nitazoxanide, those are not controversial things, right? In fact, they outrightly prescribe those things for those explicit purposes.
I looked it up, and stage it goes egg, larva, pupa, adult.
Oh, so there are 4.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what it's claiming here.
Interesting. Yeah, I think there are all sorts of theories out there as well about the parasites and what they can be doing. And I don't know. I don't really fully discount any of it because we know that the microbiome has a radical effect on our overall feeling. We know that neurotransmitters are manufactured by bacteria in the gut. So what could, worms and whatnot be doing inside of us, right? Clearly, it's a symbiotic relationship.
Right. And then I think it's like 70% of the immune system either is or originates in the gut. So keeping the gut healthy is pretty critical to having a strong immune system too.
Yeah.
I see a couple of comments related to stuff we've been talking about here. Do you mind if I chime in on a couple of these?
Not at all. Please do.
Stacy Reagan says, for binders, use activated charcoal, bentonite clay, and the drug Welchol, that's WELCHOL, from the Shoemaker protocol for the absorption of mold toxins. Oregano oil is a great herbal antibiotic. Yeah, antibiotic. Yeah. I've heard the same about oregano oil. And Eliza H says, I'm not a medical doctor, lawyer, etc., but all toxins are poisons, although not all poisons are toxins. Toxins are biological poisons produced by a living organism. For example, snake venom, poisonous mushrooms, urushiol from poison ivy, botulinum from the botulism bacteria, etc. Whereas poisons can be any substance that harm or kill living organisms when eaten, inhaled, or absorbed. From what I understand about colloidal silver, the silver helps prevent bacterial growth despite the moist environment of a burn.
Yeah. I knew that the distinction between toxins and poisons. So she understands it a little bit, and she could be right. I didn't know that. I didn't see it as a branch where toxins are just the biological ones. I just thought that the poisons were the ones that were not biological and the toxins were. But I mean, it sounds correct what she's saying, right? Yeah. But same, more or less the same understanding, right?
Yeah.
And it's a well-recognized phenomenon. Yeah, it's like we can't pretend that like toxins and poisons don't exist. It's a pretty silly thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And let's see here. George Holmes says, I find it interesting that the body detoxes by coughing, sneezing, sweating, fevers, a cold, flu, diarrhea, vomiting to get rid of toxins, yet we look at them like we have caught something. Yeah. It's the body's natural process of getting rid of bad stuff. And Allison Hill says, I had to go to urgent care on July 4th, and I never go to the doctor because a wound I had on my finger wasn't healing after 5 days. Funny thing is, I don't remember getting hurt, but the doctor took one look and said it was infected, and so I'm on antibiotics. The wound looks and feels like a burn, and it's on my knuckle, so it still hurts.
Interesting.
Well, I hope it's getting better now.
Yeah, I hope so too.
It's no fun.
Yeah, it's no fun at all. I want to comment on something George said. I want to share a little bit of an anecdote. So there's a dude I met speaking at an event in Spain, and I met this guy who goes under the moniker Oscar Vor, and he and I did so I'm not telling him, I'm not saying anything that he told me in private. This was something he relayed to me on a podcast. Really interesting dude. He's a raw carnivore, right?
Oh, wow. Okay.
And
that's hardcore.
It's pretty hardcore. And on the podcast episode, he's like, and I eat raw eggs right out of the shell. And I'm like, oh, okay. You want to demonstrate? And then the staff goes out and gets some eggs, and they got 2. And he's like, well, you got to do it with me, Mark. And I'm like, okay. And he tapped the egg, the pointy ends of the egg on his canine tooth. He's like, here, just do it like this. Just tap, tap. And then you flip it over, tap it again. And then you suck it right out of the shell. And, anyway, so that dude, so he told me he got straight up appendicitis.
Oh.
And he went to the doctor, and he's so anti the medical industry that he's like, you guys want to cut my appendix out? I'm pretty sure that like God gave me appendicitis for a reason. I'm going to write it out. And I was like, this is a man committed to his belief system, right? Yeah. I
mean, and you know what happens if it goes on. I mean, if it continues.
So what? So let me. I want to hear okay. So I think I had the same perception you do? Like if you leave it, what happens? Right.
Well, it ruptures.
Yep.
The appendix ruptures, and then you'll likely end up with sepsis.
Yeah.
Which is extremely deadly. I know somebody who died from sepsis.
Interesting.
A young man who died from sepsis. Now he was missing his spleen from a sledding accident, but he died from sepsis in one night.
Did it happen right after an appendix rupture when he had the sepsis?
No, it did not.
Different case.
Different circumstance. I just know that sepsis in particular can be extremely deadly.
Yeah.
Can't mess around with it.
Dude, if I had appendicitis, I'd be like, cut it out, boys. Like, come on, let's go. All right. Give me what you got to give me, do what you got to do. Oscar lived long enough to tell me the story, right? So he said it was extremely painful. It did rupture, right? Or he said, I assume it ruptured because there was a point where it swole up and it was really, really painful. He's at the hospital and they're like, you sure you don't want us to do anything? He's like, nope, just, he stayed there and just wrote it out. And his belief was that it's like, okay, it will swell and it'll rupture and the body will heal itself. I don't know if the dude's just lucky.
But he lived and he didn't get an appendectomy. No,
didn't get an appendectomy. And apparently lived through it. Now, this is definitely not something I would recommend anybody try. I would not do this myself, but he had a similar understanding to what the gentleman was saying.
Wow. I have a close friend who he didn't tell me that he was suffering from pain, but he was suffering from pain for multiple months.
Yeah.
And it finally got so bad 3 months in that he went to the hospital and they told him he had appendicitis.
Yeah.
So he ended up getting surgery 36 hours before I had surgery on my my collarbone.
Okay.
For an appendectomy. So, and he's been struggling through the recovery because I guess, abdominal surgery, it's pretty painful to recover from.
I would imagine. Yeah. I mean, having been punched in the liver, but I know that's not pleasant.
Yeah.
Yeah. Getting cut into and all that, that's that can't be good. Yeah. So I would love to, maybe we should get Oscar on here and just hear his story. He's a very interesting dude. I don't know what to think about that. And the whole raw egg thing, I was when I was doing it, I was like, am I really going to super regret this? Am I going to botulism? What's going to happen? But I went with it.
My sons eat raw eggs pretty much daily. They throw them in their smoothies. I don't know if you remember Orange Julius. Do you remember those?
Yeah.
Remember those in the malls? You go get Orange Julius. You could get them to throw a raw egg in there for an upcharge.
Okay.
Do you remember that?
I don't remember that, but I do remember Rocky, the whole opening scene, where he's cracking the eggs. That was flashing through my head.
Oh,
yeah. Ready to suck the egg. I was like, all right. Yeah.
I'm not sure I'd want to just, straight out of the shell, but if you put it in a protein smoothie and blend it up, I mean.
You know what? It's not as gnarly as you would think, man. Like I was like, this is going to be, I don't even want to say the comparisons I'm thinking, but it was like, it doesn't really taste like anything, it was almost tasteless. Yeah.
Oh, interesting. Yeah.
I thought for sure I was going to yak right there on the show.
That's because you need to hold it in your mouth and just do some salt, do some pepper,
like an oyster shooter, right?
Swirl it around your mouth a little bit, then you'll get the flavor.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing was, I thought for sure he was just going to like crack it into his mouth, but you actually, because there's an opening on the other side, you can suck it right out of the egg, and it's I tried it a few times after that, but I wasn't sold enough on the health benefits of it to keep doing it because it's not a pleasant experience, but yeah.
Well, so are there any detox routines that you think are fake or not useful or anything like that?
That is a really good question. I want to be very careful here. Like
step on anybody's toes.
Yeah.
Bash somebody's favorite daily health routine.
Yeah. Well, especially right after I just named that website, and who knows, maybe we'll get those guys on and we can have a conversation, maybe they know something I don't know. Right.
Yeah.
So I'm not really sure. I haven't heard any that I'm looking at and I'm like, okay, for sure that's fake. There are the things that I've been convinced were fake are the things where there's like some proprietary compound or like some mystery ingredient. And then I'm kind of like, okay, if you're not going to reveal what the ingredients are, and I can't actually discover for myself what the alleged mechanism is,
Yeah.
of course I'm going to question that. Do you have any offhand that you could say straight out, like let's bash them,
Yeah,
let's go?
there's one that I think of, and there's a story behind it. Okay, when I was first starting as a copywriter,
Uh-oh.
I I was hired to write copy for a particular product, and it had to do with detoxing, right?
Yeah.
And so I started, what does a copywriter do? You do research. You go
Yeah.
start digging. You're trying to find and then I found out the story that Gary Halbert had used, and a story about a man who had lived to like 114 or something like
Yeah.
that in England, and I'm like, this is great. Fits what I need perfectly. So I wrote the copy and everything, and the copy worked well. Client was super happy. But later I found out that story about that guy is apocryphal. It's not a true story. And then I started doing some more research on cleanses. So I'm speaking specifically about cleanses. All right. There's different products out there like, hey, the way it always starts like this, you've got pounds of
That's right.
fecal matter like stuck in your colon,
Compacted. Yeah.
compacted and stuck to the walls, and it paints this picture of like, what? Oh, I didn't know about this. I got to take care of this. That's disgusting.
Yeah.
And the truth of the matter is that's your body doesn't work like that. Like, whatever's in there comes out.
Yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't get stuck and things like this. But then you go, what happens is that the sellers of cleanse products, they, for a while, this was popular, I think probably 2010s, early 2010s, maybe, pictures, well, I took this cleanse product and look what came out of me.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you remember these
marketing
things?
Oh yeah.
Okay, this. All right.
Yep.
Can you think of an alternate explanation for what those pictures were?
Well, it's so there's a couple interesting mechanisms there, right? There's like three actually that come to mind. So one is the psyllium husks that they often include in there.
Yep.
Just chuck a tablespoon of that in some water, stir it up, and see what happens.
Right.
Is that the one you're thinking of, or is there another one?
Well, I mean, you're on the right track. I mean, what the pictures of what come out of people, it's literally the product. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not that this stuff was backed up inside of you.
Yeah.
No, you took a product and your body had to get it out, and it's shaped that way because it's like it almost creates like a casing or something in your colon.
Yeah.
And then when it comes out, it basically, it's confirmation bias. They told you a story.
Yep.
And then they sold you a product that made the story come true.
Yeah.
Is that interesting?
Yeah, it's fascinating. I'm kind of like I have so many different thoughts about that, right?
Yeah.
Like on one level, okay, maybe stimulating placebo in people is not a bad idea, right? Like if you can, the idea behind faith healing is if you get people to believe that they're healed, like sometimes clearly there is a switch in our minds that we can flip that will change the outcomes. And I think if you talk to a lot of doctors, they'll say that the patient expectations are a very strong indicator of like what the outcomes will be.
True. Yeah.
And if you can change the expectation, like at the same time, I don't think, hey, just go sell any random garbage and just and excuse yourself by saying, well, I'm just facilitating a placebo. That's probably, not really in the correct ethical frame, that we want to have. But at the same time, I'm kind of like, again, I don't want to rob people of a placebo, if they, and is that stuff harmful? I don't know. If you go down the carnivore rabbit hole, it's like, hey, maybe we shouldn't be taking all of those animal compounds because they're,
Right. Your body
plant toxic.
Right. Your body can't digest fiber. There's literally no value to fiber. It actually can irritate the gut lining and things like this. So
Pretty sold on that notion, by the way. I mean, after being somebody who went through very, very difficult periods of time with his digestion,
yeah.
And seeing how many people have had really positive outcomes by just eliminating. And I know some people are going to hear that and go, okay, this is kooky. I would have thought the same thing like 10 years ago before I actually was like, oh, okay, Salisbury steak was invented by Dr. Salisbury to cure IBS. And it worked, right?
Yeah.
But that for some reason they don't do that. But a lot of people in the carnivore community are just so happens that they're eliminating plants from their diet, and it seems to relieve symptoms. Does that mean it's the right diet? I don't know, but it's happening.
Yeah. It seems to help. I have foods that are on my, do not eat like ever again list, because when I reintroduce them, my body freaks out.
Yeah.
Because I've stayed away from them for long enough that if I eat them, there's no masking of the symptom from all the other stuff I'm eating. So for example, hummus or garbanzo beans, right?
Okay.
And beans in general.
Yeah.
I mean, beans are toxic unless you soak them first. Like
that's right.
Humans can't eat them unless you soak them, and then and then there's a reason why they have a reputation for making you gassy, because the fiber and everything that just sits there in your gut fermenting. Because your body can't really use it.
Yeah.
It's like, what do I do with this?
What's interesting about that? I remember when I was going through two different vegetarian/vegan periods of my life, which didn't end well in both cases. Every vegan and vegetarian I talked to was like, well, you're not doing it right. And that's everybody. And for me as a carnivore, I'm probably going to say the same thing. It's like, well, you tried carnivore and it didn't work. You didn't do it right. Yeah. So who knows, what's really going on. But I remember there were some doctors out there, some very well-known, pro whole food plant-based. Like if I say vegan to these guys, they're going to get really angry. We're not vegans. We're whole food plant-based. It's like, we don't follow the gourd. We follow the shoe. Yeah. But I don't know if you know the reference from Monty Python and the Holy Grail, but so they would say, as long as it's vegan, it's okay. Right. It was like, if it's a box full of stuff and there's no animal products in it, it's A-okay, according to this doctor. And I was like, that doesn't seem like it's really true. And, so, okay, when you know that there are protease inhibitors in beans and seeds and all of that, and you're right, you have to soak them and like slightly sprout them to neutralize those compounds that are clearly, not positive for the body. We can take that. We can take like just a whole garbanzo bean and not soak it and grind it up and put it in a box, as a little cracker. And it's okay because it's vegan. That was one of the things that started getting me thinking, okay, these guys this is a dogma.
Interesting.
Besides garbanzo beans, what else?
Oh, on what I won't eat?
Yeah.
I try to stay away from nightshades now.
Okay.
Tomatoes are the main one, right? And nightshades are known to be toxic. And so I try to stay away from it. It's not like I'll never eat like a small amount of tomato again, but I also try to stay away from pasta sauce on pasta. Like I just don't feel good after eating pasta with sauce on it or something. It's like, if that's what is being served, then I'll eat a small portion and then maybe try to, eat some straight meat or something.
Yeah.
Into it.
Go do the bulimia purge after.
No, don't do that, but
not recommending that to anybody. Yeah, that's.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem with rice really. Rice is fine. Like I'll eat a little rice here and there. It's a pretty clean carb. But for a while, I would go to Chipotle when I was doing carnivore. I'd go to Chipotle and I'd do like triple or quadruple meat, and then it was always a mystery what they would charge you because they got so confused. They're like rice, no rice, no rice, no beans. Okay, what meat do you want? Okay, I'm gonna tell you, I want full servings of each of these.
Yeah.
I want the steak, I want the barbecue. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're like, what? And then it gets down to like, he got triple meat. How do we ring this up? A couple times I got charged like $9, but another time I got charged over $20. So
I was in an airport. So right before the attack in Iran happened, right before the war broke out, I was in the airport in Dubai, right in the spot that got bombed in the airport,
whoa,
Dubai airport. Like literally, I missed it by like I think like an hour.
wow.
And I remember reading like Mike Pompeo giving a warning, and I was like, okay, this is interesting. Here I am in the Dubai airport. And I went to the Five Guys there,
Yeah.
and I said, I want you to give me 2 triple cheeseburgers, just the meat, just the cheese, right? And
Yeah.
she's like, like no bun, right? I was like, nope,
Yeah.
no lettuce, nothing. I was like, nope, 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 just the meat, just cheese. Somebody else comes around to confirm, right? They're like, okay, we just want to make sure we understand your orders here, right? You know?
People get so freaked out when you do stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah. They
You're like,
do.
actually, it's very simple. It's just just the patties and cheese.
Yeah, just listen to my actual words and we'll get this right, you know. But I guess it's so outside of what most people do. And I remember the cook kind of looking at me, just kind of like, you know, he's like, "Okay, pal, I'll do it," you know. But
Yeah, that's
yeah,
funny.
yeah, wasn't bad. Yeah, I don't know if that meat's very good there. I think some of the meats are different qualities at different places.
Yeah. We got a couple more. We've got a lot of comments today. Honestly, there's a ton of them.
Yeah.
Brian Toberman says the reason that humans in the U.S. or most Western countries don't regularly use anti-parasitics is because our food tends to be properly cooked and adequately cleaned. Our medical systems can easily detect when we have a parasite, so we get treated quickly and it doesn't affect us for long periods. Other places in the world could benefit from regular treatments for parasites. That's a pretty good point.
Yeah, that's a solid argument, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I feel it's go ahead.
Paul Stillman, he says, I did an all raw diet, meat, fish, dairy, eggs for a few years. I felt pretty decent, but it's not easy when you want to eat with friends and family. I read a book called We Want to Live. It was all about the raw diet. My mom had cancer, and the author, I met with him and got to know him, said the multi-billions of dead cells after chemo would bind with the fat, 22% from the raw burger meat. The dead cells are why people feel so horrible. Well, I definitely agree with him that any extreme diet makes it difficult to eat with friends and family. I felt that for sure on carnivore.
Yeah. Oh, I still deal with it, man. Like people are like, "Oh, you're still on your all beef diet," you know, and it's like, "Yes, I am. Please cast your judgment." I'm curious as to which judgment about this you have today. It varies.
So it bothers people. It really does. When I'm like, I don't know why, but it does. So.
And you know what's funny is like there are people that are like clearly sick and obese, and they're sitting there looking at you like, you know.
I know. Oh gosh. I remember. Well, I don't know how many details I should give here, but let's say a person I know.
No names.
who is definitely overweight and works in the mainstream medical system. You know, blew her mind that I was doing carnivore, and well, she's like, well, that kind of goes against all my training. And I'm like, okay, but look at me, look at you, like see where that's gotten you, see where that's gotten me, you know what I mean? Just kind of, I don't know. People can't see sometimes.
Paul Check had such a great thing to say about that. I love Paul. We should get him on. Paul, just such a well-rounded, grounded guy, you know. He's got some things that I'm like, oh, I don't know what to think about that. But like he said, everybody who teaches health should do it with their shirt off. And I was like, yeah, I kind of like that.
Yeah, that is good.
Yeah.
See the evidence.
Yeah, that's right. George Holmes says, should you detox after going to your doctor or taking so-called medication?
Not a bad idea. I mean, what do you think?
I don't know if it's a bad idea, right? Because I mean, I think that it's a pretty well-established fact that some of the things that we know will treat symptoms are liver toxic. I mean, for example, when I've had toenail fungal infections, I got into a really long argument at the VA hospital once upon a time because I was like, hey, here's the specific one I want to take. There's a pulsed dose protocol that will get the same effect with less liver toxicity. Here's all the research. And they were like, well, our system says that you have to take exactly this one. And I'm like, well, this is the research. I mean, prescribe this to me or not, At the end of this conversation, there was like 8 doctors in there, like yelling at me, telling me like, you need to take this and listen, like, why do you think you know better than we do? I'm like, well, apparently I can read and you guys can't, because here's the science. And you're just like, you're just like going to a database saying, prescribe this one. None of you guys have talked about the actual literature. And I'm pretty sure I was right on that. But I mean, the point is it's a known liver toxin, some of these antifungals, right? So there are probably things that you do need to detox from, after the medicine has done its work, if it's actually even doing anything.
Yeah.
And what do you go?
Yeah, I was going to say it's probably worthwhile. I would also say though, if you were given an anti, what is that called? Just where it kills the stuff in your gut.
Oh, antibiotic.
Antibiotics. Then you probably don't need to do a detox. You probably need to do actually getting good biotics back into your gut. So yogurt, things like that. So so that might not necessitate a detox.
That's right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of doctors will agree with that too. I think there are a lot of guys who are getting a little bit more open-minded about the idea. It's like, hey, the microbiome is still kind of mysterious. I mean, it's only like in the last few decades that we've discovered that it's as vast as it is.
Yeah. I find it humorous that they often will they don't know if you're sick from a bacteria or not.
Yeah.
Right. And they'll just prescribe an antibiotic to make you happy. Like, well, here's an antibiotic. I'm like, well, what good is that if it's not bacterial? I'm actually just harming myself. I'm just.
Yeah. I remember in Korea, so when I was, on mission there in the Army, you could go to a pharmacy in Korea and don't see a doctor. The pharmacist they would give you so if you got sick, they would give you these little sachets that had like 7 or 8 different pills and some powders. And you were just supposed to like pop this thing in your mouth and just wash it down with some water. I don't know what was in all those things, but antibiotics was almost always one of the components. And they would just hand that out willy-nilly to everybody.
Gosh.
Yeah.
Shotgun approach.
But then again, everybody's eating kimchi there, so maybe they're replenishing their microbiome pretty fast.
Maybe. Yeah, maybe.
Right on. Well, we are at the top of the half hour. So there's so much more I would like to talk about this. And we should get some guests on to discuss it as well. And guys, let us know in the comments if you like this topic. Ryan, what do you think? I feel like I could probably go for like 3 or 4 more hours here talking about these. Not that I'm suggesting that tonight, but because I'm super nerdy about this kind of thing, and I'm looking into it all the time.
Well, the time went fast, and clearly there's interest because there are a ton of comments that we didn't even read yet, but didn't get to all of them.
Well, no matter what you're into, everybody's concerned about their health, right?
Sure. Yeah.
And it's a good segue into ending where we are. So for those of you guys who are not Simpleology members, I think I'm going to present a hypothesis here. I think that when you do Simpleology, when you lower your stress levels by just focusing on the little thing at a time, that's moving you in the direction where you want to go, it creates a sense of equilibrium in your life. And I think that it's pretty unequivocal that if you lower your stress levels, if you're not overstressing yourself, you're not distressing yourself, your body's going to have an easier time handling the other stressors, right? Besides the mental ones that are just eating away at your mind. So Simpleology kind of gives you a sense of agency over your life. You can see the results that you're getting. It's like, oh, wow, I'm actually getting more done in a couple hours than would normally take me a full day or even a week. I think that has to result in some kind of a positive health effect. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not making that claim. That's just my hypothesis. But I will ask you guys to perhaps perform an N=1 study of your own. Try Simpleology for like 7 days or 7 years, up to you, and see what happens. At the end of that, we do have people that have been doing it for well over 7 years now. We've been around for 20 years, and some guys have been with us from day one and swear by it. So give it a shot. See how you feel. See how it works out. And with that, we'll wish everyone a beautiful day or night wherever you are. And we'll see you guys on the next one. And by the way, I will be in an airport on the next one. And we're going to have Zia Sheikh on the hot seat, which is going to be a lot of fun. So we'll see you guys in a couple days.
All right.
Boom. Good night, guys.